Today is Wednesday, September 21, 2016. It's 10:02. I call the meeting of Monongalia County Commission to order. We've had a rough time with bombings and stuff in this country, so let's just keep all the first responders and all those out there that try to keep us safe in their thoughts and prayers. Would everyone please rise for a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Consent and approval. Renetta.
Good morning.
Good morning.
29 exoneration listings for $19,178.35. No minutes to approve. General county vouchers, $57,603. Coal severance, $5,700. 911 cash, $1344.44. Chestnut Ridge Park, $1386.80. Camp Muffley, $357.04. Mason-Dixon Park, $45.06. Assessor's valuation, $455.74. Purchasing card vouchers, General County, $99.22.29. 911, $1496.97. Home confinement, $1571.10. Camp Muffley, $241.22. Mason-Dixon Park, $92.63, for a total of $80,213.32. We have a budget revision for Sheriff's Office, Law Enforcement. The Sheriff received a check for $4,200 from the Hogs and Heroes Foundation for the future purchase of body cameras, and he would like that money to be deposited into the General County Fund Law Enforcement budget for capital outlay and equipment line item 459. Hold on. We've got position vacancies for boards and authorities, Mon County Planning Commission, MPO Citizens Advisory Committee, Farmland Protection Board, and fiduciary orders for September 21st, 2016. And that's all.
Move for approval.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Okay. Position vacancies for boards and authorities. Is that where we're on? Is that what we're on?
Nope. You're on introduction of new employees.
We're down to introduction of new employees. Yeah. Thank you. I am pleased to have the privilege of doing this. JR, stand up and come on up here. Come on up here. Get on camera. Okay? Because you'll be doing this in the future, but I get the honor to do it right now. I would like to announce or I'd like to ask the commission to approve the hiring of Mr. William Petsko Jr., otherwise affectionately known as JR, as our superintendent of Mason-Dixon Historical Park, effective October 1, 2016. His pay will be $25,000 per year with full benefits, and he's on a 6-month probationary period. What is the wishes of the commission?
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard, JR.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Hope to make you very happy.
Oh, you.
We're relying on that. Thank you. Okay. We also have Jimmy Smith with Monongalia County HSE, EMA, and MECA 911. Sir.
I'd like to introduce Harold Sparinger. We call him Hap Sparinger, a little less informal than Harold.
And he said never call him Harry.
Yeah, he said never call him Harry, just Hap.
Probably the wrong thing to say.
Hap started Monday with us. He's our new deputy director. He comes to us after retiring with 25 years at Morgantown Police and prior military experience prior to that. He was in charge of operations for years at Morgantown Police, and we're happy to have him on board, and we would ask Commission's approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
As I told you earlier, you're going from the B League, the city, to the A League. I said city of Morgantown.
I work for.
I know. Oh, well.
Another foot.
Yep, get another foot I gotta take out.
There we go. Okay, any further introduction of employees? No. Okay, now's the time for comments from the public. If anyone in the public would like to speak, please identify yourself and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
My name's Doug Mooney. I was here approximately 2 months ago on the estate of Eddie. At that time, the commission told us to get a report in within 15 days on disbursements, et cetera, which we have done, and we've delivered that to Mr. Strathis, who represents the other parties. And he also said we needed to have within 60 days an agreement on a survey. And I have here the letter of engagement for, we should have the survey completed within 90 days for that. So I just wanted to deliver that to you within 60 days.
Scope of the order.
Thank you for your
We
efficiency.
appreciate it very much.
I wish more people were like that.
Has the county clerk received a copy of that? Doug?
Doug,
Has the
county clerks received this?
a copy?
No, they have no.
Okay, we'll get that.
We'll make sure they get that.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. A lot of times we have to track them down to find out what they did or didn't do, so I really appreciate that diligence there. Any further comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll close that section. Colleen Coon, grants.
Morning.
Good morning.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Birthday, happy birthday.
49.
Yes.
Man,
I'm really
you gonna have any feet left?
I don't have any
You
feet
keep
left.
I'll get
chewing
it
on your
later.
feet.
Yes,
that
I'll
I'll
birthday.
get it later.
Yes,
So I have a request for reimbursement. It's for the Community Development Block Grant in the amount of $816.49. That's the only request for reimbursement I have.
Okay,
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passed.
And then the other day, we received a letter from the Division of Justice and Community Services for the VOCA grant. We were awarded $78,544. So I have the contract for you to sign for that.
Move that we approve, President. Yeah, to sign the contract.
Well, is there a resolution with it?
There is a,
Oh, there's a whole bunch.
there's a resolution,
Okay.
there's
And resolution. Okay.
Okay, well,
lobbying.
why don't you read the resolution? That's how we normally handle it all.
The Commission of Monongalia County met on Wednesday, September 21, 2016, with a quorum present and passed the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Commission hereby authorizes the Honorable Eldon A. Callan, President of the Monongalia County Commission, to act on its behalf to enter into a contractual agreement with the Division of Justice and Community Services to receive and administer grant funds pursuant to the provisions of the Victims of Crime Act VOCA grant program. So there's that. And then I have a lobbying form for you to sign.
What, I'm lobbying or I'm not lobbying?
You're not lobbying.
I'm not lobbying, that's what I figured.
And I also have Equal Employment Opportunity Plan for you to sign.
Do I get to keep my children with those?
Yes, I
Okay.
will allow you to keep your children and your grandchildren.
Okay, good.
And then I have the special supplementary conditions and assurances for you to sign as well.
So that's basically the concept of the resolution. Can I have a motion on that?
Move that you sign the document, we approve the resolution, and you sign the other forms.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. All right. Well, you got some additional information.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right, James Smith, Director, Monongalia County HSEMA and Mecca 911. You're on.
All right. The following is a timetable of the upgrades we've been doing out at the 911 center over the last a little less than a year period. We'll just start at the top. In December of last year, we had signed the contract for our new Motorola radio system that was put in at a cost of $591,330. That system was installed at the end of March and is now up and operational. In November 30th of last year, we'd signed the new contract for our NextLog 740 recording system. The recording system is what records all the 911 calls coming in and also all the radio traffic that's used for the police, fire, EMS, and all of our responders. And that system was up and operational on April the 4th of this year at a cost of $120,835, and that system is paid in full. Our CAD system, a contract was signed April 11th for our new CAD system with Zerker Corporation at a total cost right now of $309,109. It looks like we're going to save a few $1,000s on the final price of this just because some adjustments that have been made. But that system is set to go live next Thursday. So that system will be up and operational next Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. We're going live. At the end of this project, once we sign the final agreement, then we will get our final bill, which all of this has been paid except we're right around $60,000. And at that point, then we will pay that final bill and that system will be paid in full.
Very good.
And the last upgrade is our phone system. As we've talked about the phone system, we're going with the lease program similar to what the county has done with their system. We're upgrading the current system we have to the new version. And we just had our first planning meeting yesterday on getting this system in place. We have a projected end time of the project to be around the 1st of February of next year. So we're shooting for the last week of January, first week of February to have the system up, operational, and in place.
Who's that through?
Very good.
Frontier.
Cost per month will be $9,209.
Yeah, right now we're looking at $9,209 per month and that also includes our full maintenance on the
That's
system.
part of that contract.
Yeah, and then isn't also if they upgrade or something, they will automatically do it without any cost to us, or it's...
We will continue to
Exactly.
stay with current technology as
Right,
we go.
which is a big,
Yes,
yeah, big change.
yes,
Yeah, because in 5 years, things could change enormously.
absolutely. Especially when we start looking at the texting,
Right.
911 coming in, and, you know, we have big changes in the next few years coming in this type of equipment.
You all have been doing a real good job staying on top of it. I'm sure HAP will be a great addition to help keep moving on.
So thank you.
Important system.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, very
Appreciate
positive.
it very much. Yeah. Very good. Okay, correspondence.
We do have a few things that came in since the agenda was done. Pauline and I attended the Empty Bowls campaign kickoff on Thursday last week, and they would like to submit their annual report to the commission for the record.
Okay.
And then I also received from Larry Long, who's the financial officer at the health department. He has sent over a loan application that he's asking for the commission to approve. I think normally the administrator would just sign off on it, but I thought it best not to do that. I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Loan for what?
Loan for a septic system.
Oh, yeah, that's sort of standard administrative thing, but yeah.
They're asking for a total of $7,550 with a monthly payment of $150. Last name is Claypole, 50 Wildflower Lane, Maysville.
That's just a typical loan support that we give for new septic systems. It's normally done administratively, but anyone have any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you. You have anything else, Renata?
No.
Okay, unfinished business. We have any unfinished business?
I have one item on you.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
as you know, last week we discussed supporting the special excess levy from the Board of Education.
Yes.
And I am pleased, working with the tax office and Kelly Palmer, I had asked to get a bunch of information. So to clarify, I know a lot of times when you make a suggestion, you need to make sure you have the facts in front of you so you can prove your point. As of right now, and that's 6 months before we've collected all the funds, the excess levy has brought in an additional $1.233 million. What my request was, as I had asked the Board of Education, just for your information, that if you took that extra money, that's just going on based right now on the last 5 years, and divided it by the staff, both service personnel and teachers in Mon County, which is roughly around 800 employees, that would mean that every individual over the 5-year period could get a total of $1,500, which would help offset some of the increases that have happened with PIA and other services. So therefore, it would be one more reason why you should come teach in Monongalia County. So, but I want to be clear that the money was there, and it is there, and the proposal is a clear possibility. And I want to clear that I only use PEI as an example. It's just additional stipend, as we've done in the past. And I believe the money's there, and I think it would say a lot to the Board of Education by showing the transparency of where the extra funds would go to. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further unfinished business? Hearing none, new business. Consideration of a proclamation for National Heroin and Opioid Drug Awareness Week.
We were contacted by the United States Attorney's Office out of the Northern District in Wheeling, and asked the commission if we would be interested to pass a proclamation.
You have the proclamation?
Yes,
to
I
read?
do. Would you like to read it?
Not really.
Okay.
I would like you to read it.
Well, I know, but you're doing the thing tomorrow, so I thought maybe
Yeah.
you would want to read it.
I can read it. I was going to talk
Gotta
about that in
practice.
my report.
Yeah.
I'm very pleased to be working with Granville and on this program, and it's good. We've got to really approach this on a positive level that we can make a difference. I'm afraid that too many, gone back to Nancy Reagan before, just say no, and all the others, that people get frustrated, but we got to keep working on it. So I commend Granville for their leadership on that, and I was glad to join with them. But as for the proclamation, whereas drug overdose deaths claim tens of thousands of lives across the United States each year, many of these deaths involve the use of an opioid drug to include heroin, fentanyl, and prescription pain medications. And whereas the overprescribing of opioid medications as caused by the United States, home to just 5% of the world's total population, consumes 80% of the world's supply of oxycodone and 99% of the world's supply of hydrocodone. And whereas the misuse and abuse of prescription painkillers has led to the widespread use of heroin and fentanyl, substances that provide many of the same effects but which are widely available at a much cheaper price. And whereas the opioid class of drugs has established a particularly firm grip in West Virginia and the surrounding region through a mix of economic, geographic, and cultural factors. West Virginia consistently experiences the highest rate of drug overdose deaths in the nation, and the rate of heroin overdose deaths in the Mountain State has far outpaced the national average in recent years. And whereas, although the Mountain State has felt the impact of drug trafficking and substance abuse, we can utilize prevention and education initiatives to capitalize on the tenacious resilience of our communities and position our youth to have prosperous futures. Now, therefore, we, the members of the Monongalia County Commission, by virtue of the authority vested in us do hereby proclaim the week of September 19th through 23 as Heroin and Opioid Awareness Week. And we encourage our citizens to observe this week by participating in programs and activities designed to enhance public awareness and promote factual education regarding heroin and opioid drugs. We especially encourage our citizens to promote and foster meaningful, fact-based conversations with young people regarding the impact of misusing prescription pain medication and other opioid substances. Dated September 21, 2016, Eldon A. Callan, President, Thomas C. Bloom, Commissioner, Edward A. Hawkins, Commissioner.
Move for approval and acceptance of the resolution.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Ron, you want to add anything at this point?
I can, yes. In conjunction with that, I went to a school last Monday, trainer school on Narcan. I trained the Granville Fire Department on Thursday. They deployed it on Friday and saved a 19-year-old boy.
No way.
Fantastic.
Took 2 doses, but they brought him back. 2. And in that class, I learned that all the rehab facilities in this county are full.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, there's a waiting list of over 800 people trying to get in rehab.
Wow.
So it's obviously a problem.
Wow.
And help me, Bucky.
Bucky.
What's his last name?
Forbes.
Things slip my mind sometimes. I just confess to it. Yeah. He's leading this tomorrow at start at 9 o'clock, I believe. Is it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. I think I'll go ahead and cover it since we're on this subject. It's tomorrow.
9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Okay, it's 9 a.m. tomorrow, and it's at, I'm trying to,
Marriott.
at the Courtyard Marriott, that's right. Courtyard Marriott. It is a, oh, thank you, I should have brought that in. Yeah, the heroin epidemic seminar, the Granville Police Department, and I was asked to assist. This is what's called an adaptive problem, which basically is what I covered in the County Leadership Institute of how to tackle the adaptive problems in our society, which are basically problems that exist on, and you can't do it by just following a list. And so that's going to be at the Courtyard Marriott from 9 to 12:30. There will be breakout sessions that will allow a lot of personal input, so anyone that possibly has any interest or any involvement in fighting the epidemic that we're facing, please come.
Don't we also have a development board meeting tomorrow?
Yes, we do. Right.
We're gonna have to leave.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. Any further comments on that? Okay. All right, the next item on new business is to consider for approval the West Virginia Department of Transportation Division of Highways project cost reimbursement requisition number 1 for the interchange bonds. What's the wishes of the commission?
Do you want to know the amount?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in,
22,310,930,44.
310. Move for the president to sign.
Second.
I would just point out that our initial budget for that was 26 million. And we came 4 million under based on the design build of the county and the Department of Highways and Federal Highway System all working together. It really worked well. I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you. I always like it when we save $4 million. Isn't that nice? That's good. Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, consideration of appointments to the Mason-Dixon Historical Park and Camp Muffley Advisory Boards. This was placed on the agenda. There's been some concern raised about what's been done and what hasn't been done in the past. I asked Renetta, who asked Janet to look through the minutes. You have a copy of that email?
I don't. I can go run one off.
Can you run one off real quick? And then we'll,
Okay.
once we have that record, because I didn't recall either.
Yeah, remember we were all doing that on April
Right.
20th? It was a while ago, and that
Well,
was my question. And I didn't want someone to say we do everything, and then they say,
No, I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
No, we want to do it right.
okay, that's fine.
I just. Bobby, what do you know new? While we're sitting here, just put you on the spot, huh?
Well, let's ask you, how is the process going with the building downstairs with the offices of the
Oh, that'd be a
MMPO?
good thing.
Yeah,
We're moving in the week of August, October 3rd, and we're all done down there. Just a couple of touch-up items, and we're moving up to the second floor.
It's just excellent, the work your people do. Please pass on the thousands of dollars, actually into the millions now, since you've started that construction crew that you've saved the taxpayers of this county. Please pass that commendation on to them. Okay, I'll just read the whole thing.
Sure.
That's the fair way to do it. No, that's the minutes, if anyone want to read the minutes, okay? Sure. Dear Renetta, to my knowledge, the Monongalia County Parks and Recreation Advisory Board was never dissolved. Discussion occurred at a work session on April 13, 2016, about dissolving the board and creating advisory boards for each of the parks. Also, discussion occurred about establishing the 3 advisory boards during the April 20th, 2016 regular session as follows. Mason-Dixon Historical Park, Chestnut Ridge Regional Park, and Monongalia County Camp Muffley reestablished the advisory boards to the parks with some delegation of power as determined by the county commission later on, with the county commissioner serving on each advisory board. After discussion, a motion was made by Commissioner Hawkins, seconded by Commissioner Bloom, and unanimously carried to accept the proposals discussed for establishing 5 to 7 member advisory boards to each of the 3 county parks, Mason-Dixon Historical Park, Chestnut Ridge Regional Park, and the Monongalia County Camp Muffley, with some delegation of power as determined by the county commission later on, with the county commissioner serving on each advisory board, and the consideration to establish a junior advisory board with youth, or to just include them in the advisory boards as one group to work together. If you recall, that was when we had the students here, and that was a suggestion of one of the students.
Mother was the student,
one of the students'
Oh,
mothers
that's right, yeah.
that suggested that. So we did establish by motion the 5 to 7 member advisory boards for the parks. We don't have a motion on the junior advisory boards. And we don't have, they are strictly advisory boards. We talked about certain other delegation. And then I think your other question, Tom, which was a good question, is are we going to establish the bylaws, or are we going to ask them to prepare bylaws?
Right.
So all those is open for discussion now, those issues.
Pursuant to that, I do have housekeeping motions to go ahead and make.
Okay.
I would move that we suspend the interview process and appoint to the Mason-Dixon Park, as they are known to us to be of good character. May I make the motion of all the names, or do you want an individual motion for each name?
Well, why don't you read all the names?
Okay. They are Betty Wiley, Ethan Moore, Louis Statler, Pete Sabatka, and Charles Kraft Jr.
Okay. It's always been my policy that if one commissioner wanted to interview someone, that I would support that right to interview that person. I know all five of these people personally, so I have no desire to interview any of those five.
Well, since there's a motion, I can't say anything till there's a second.
Oh, thank you. I keep my procedure correct. I'll second it.
Okay, I would want to interview. I am very concerned. I want to keep the precedent that if we are going to have boards, that we must go through the process of interviewing them, because I am very concerned and I want to get a clarification of the actual role of the boards. And that's why I would want everyone interviewed on all the boards, if that's the vote. So I will not support this motion.
You want to interview Betty Wiley?
Oh, yes. I think,
list.
let me explain why.
Okay.
I think
I
people.
don't understand.
Okay, I don't think people, I will try and bring back a memory that was not a very positive one, where we had several individuals that are being recommended on the board that not only gave false information, but put up a website that was derogatory and not clear, and had false information about this county commission. Some of those people I do not believe should be on that park board, and that's a major concern. So I believe we need to clarify what their interest is, and to clarify that it's an advisory board, not a administrative board. My other concern is that we move forward from consolidating the three boards to one board, because it's a county board parks. I believe the three superintendents will have some problems if we have an advisory board that is not an advisory board. Then the director of the advisory board, so they could have 6 different officials in charge of them, and then 3 more county commissioners. I want to move away from that, so we don't have any, so all 3 boards are treated equitably. That's the best way I could say it. I believe we're moving backwards, and that's my concern. Okay, respectfully said.
Yeah, I understand your point. I'm just, I'm the one who brought this up back in April. Because I think it's essential that we have community involvement in the planning of the parks. By getting community involvement in the parks, no way creates a management situation where they have additional people to answer to. It has always been established clearly that the park superintendents work for and report to this commission. I'm sort of in a situation that I have supported a long-standing policy that any single commissioner can ask for an interview. I've always stood for that. I just believe I believe in protecting the minority.
Right, and I appreciate that.
But I guess my point is that and there might be none of these 5 for the Mason-Dixon Park that I have any knowledge that any of them did anything contrary to the county commission at any time. or to the parks. I know these 5 people well. I think you know these 5 people well. And to address those issues, I have no problem with asking them to come in as a board and say, we want to make sure that you understand that this is what your role is. But I kind of think it's a separate thing than the appointment. Now, if you're saying, well, I'd like to talk to this person because I met him, and not talk to this person,
No.
I haven't met him, then I think that's consistent with what I've said before. Does that
I understand
bring
what-
up any questions or thoughts that you want to add that could help me through this
Yeah.
decision?
I guess the overall question is, it's a philosophical question is, are we moving forward with a consolidated park system or not? And then how do we address the bylaws, since we technically have the one large group still, plus then we have the recommendation of the advisory, plus we have separate bylaws. You see what I'm saying? That's the grayish area that I'm a little confused about, and I want to make sure that we are, whether we agree or not, we at least, we know the direction we're going. And that's what my concern is.
I understand, that's why we have discussions.
Yes.
That's fine.
And that's how I see this.
But we really don't, by virtue of establishing these 5 boards by motion on April 20th, that by consequence eliminates the large board, in my opinion. So I think the large board question was answered with this motion. If it isn't, then that's up to this commission to address, but.
I'm not an attorney. My question to you is, if you have that motion that still says you have a large board, and then you do that and you never, quote, officially get rid of that, could that cause confusion down the road?
Well, I understand what you're saying, and that's why they pay 2 lawyers to argue both sides.
That's
of it.
exactly right.
And my problem is I sit here and I argue this side, then I argue this side.
Right.
I'm always arguing, and Kelly knows that from the Development Authority and other committees we're on, I'm always arguing 2 sides. Which is good, because then we can come to the best conclusion. Normal structure, legal structure would be established to the use of a motion such as this would be by virtue of establishing 3 boards.
Okay.
You
That's
thereby
fine.
have abolished the single board.
As long as you say that on the record, so at least when we're
Right,
not
I
here,
understand.
so
Yeah.
that someone knows down the
That's
road.
fine.
Okay, that's fine.
That's,
That's fine with, not that I agree with it, but I think it's good that we said the word out.
Right,
Okay.
right. Well, I'm not driving a point. I'm trying to clarify legal interpretation of different language, and I'm giving you the general answer to the legal interpretation of a motion that establishes 3 boards. By virtue of that motion, it abolishes any prior act. That's there's always an exception that some lawyer that has a single light bulb green desk and wants to make some money will come out and argue another way. I don't care what the issue is, but that's the general. If that's acceptable to you, then it is established on the
Okay,
record.
that's fine.
You want to add anything to this discussion, Ed?
No.
I'd appreciate if you would, because I think this is a major shift in philosophically the direction the county's going, and I'd like the public to know why we are moving in this direction instead of the old direction that we had consolidated 2 years ago.
Well, the motion has already been made to establish these boards, and I firmly believe that community involvement is a priority. I believe that this is for the betterment of each individual park system.
And my concern is, and I appreciate that, my concern is we saw what happened several years ago where we had favoritism, we had commissioners giving more money to one park than another, so even when we hired the 3 park superintendents, and most recent, we stated it very clearly that the park superintendent was a park superintendent for the 3 parks, but happened to be just stationed at that one park. So that's why there could be some real confusion, and that's another of my concerns.
I see absolutely no need to interview these 5 people.
Okay.
Let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
However, I've always stood on following a principle that I adopted. So, and I think it's a fair principle. I never want to get this commission to a point where it's said that anyone's ganging up on anyone. And that's my fear, because people that's been around here know that's been done for years. And it's done in other commissions. So even though I second this motion, I would ask that we bring those 5 people in next week.
I'm willing to compromise. How's this? Can we bring all 5 in together? I like that idea.
All 5 in together.
That way, it's not individually done. I would compromise with that, if that would be.
I can't, I disagree with the necessity.
Yeah.
I disagree with the argument, but I've established a principle that I am going to protect the minorities,
Okay.
and I hope you understand.
This one.
Would you be willing to modify so they come in when we get in?
I'm willing to withdraw the second if you're willing to withdraw your motion.
I will, pursuant to that, we have 6 members for the Camp Muffley Board. So that have
Schedule them
applied.
both.
So let's then bring them all in, and then I will continue with my motions after that.
I'll accept, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate your compromise. I don't know,
We need a motion, another new motion on that?
No, because I withdrew the second, he withdrew
Okay,
the.
so that's,
He allowed me to withdraw the second, he
Okay.
withdrew the motion, so, I have principles I follow by, and that's the way I live, regardless of the results. Okay, so the next item, any further new business we need to deal with? Hearing none, reports from elected officials. Perry, do you have anything in the general agenda? Okay, and Ron left. Okay, reports from county commissioners. Tom?
yeah, just 2 positive things. First, I want to thank all 3 county commissioners for showing up Friday night. I know you had a difficult schedule and you fit it in. The Pantry Plus program had their fundraiser. It was enormous. We had about 75 people. We had WVU students, as I said, who gave up their happy hour and Friday night to be there. We had numerous people from the community. I know right now we're collecting all the money. We received over $1,400, and we have 3 rooms full of food that's going to be sent out. So again, I do want to say very positive, and also the TV coverage was there. And right now we believe the show's going to be on March 7th, they think right now. So I'll make the public know when the TV show will be about Mon County and what had happened. The other thing is I have some really good news. We finally are closing the books on the Ageless Friends. All the bills were paid. And as you know, we actually made some money, which was $3,000, and we said as a group we wanted to give it back to the community. So I'd like to announce that we are planning to give it to 3 places. The first is Operation Homecoming, which we felt was important. They like the Pantry Plus program, and the surprise that I think you'll like is we're going to give each is going to get $1,000 to the Scotch Run Museum.
Oh.
So we're real excited that we're able to give back the money, and I want to thank the county commissioners for their support, and this continues to keep on giving, so I want to thank you.
Good.
That's it.
Commissioner Hopkins.
did represent commission that was at the economic conference held in Marion County. That was last Thursday. A really good conference. Pursuant to the museum, Commissioner President Callen and I both attended the Osage Street Fair. That was on Saturday. A little bit of moisture, but still a great crowd. Excellent food. I took the catfish home to Mom. She was very happy. And on Sunday, I did attend the Wine and Jazz Festival. It was, again, a little bit moist there, but there was overall a great attendance at our park at Camp Muffley. So.
Okay. On Thursday, I've got a number of things that go down real quick. On Thursday, the Interstate 79 Access Study met. That's the stakeholders meeting. We prepared and reviewed the presentation, the forms, the various study areas that are being done for the next public meeting on the Interstate 79 Access Study. This is part of the Morgantown Monongalia Metropolitan Planning Organization. The actual date will be announced. It will be in sometime October 2016 when stakeholders committee will open up all this for public comment. It will be coming up pretty soon. We got down to some very good both cost analysis and also performance. Different studies. I got all of them here. If either the commissioners want to review them for preparation to the public hearing. On Friday, it just happened to work out this way. There were two sessions in Pittsburgh. Part of a neighborhood revitalization area at Bakery Square in Pittsburgh. They wanted me and Tom Arnold and to tour that. So we went up there and toured Bakery Square. I found it exceptionally very smart idea. In the fact that they had like a 900-car garage, and you could not tell it was a garage. And I'll give you a good example. This garage right here on the corner of University and Walnut Street, the way they designed this garage, they still maintained the storefront area, and the garage was built in behind, and you could gain access. And when you stop and think about that, one of the big things, and I came from a Main Street, Morgantown, and this meeting earlier this morning, one of the things we were talking about is the fact that because the town, Morgantown proper, and this applies to any town, but I'm talking about Morgantown proper has sort of lost its retail competitiveness, that actually people like to shop in areas where there is a lot of competition. That's why retailers like to be next to retailers. Restaurants like to be next to restaurants, because actually it generates more competition, not only more competition, but more people, more activity. When you stop and think about that, and I thought specifically this garage and the garage over on Walnut Street, when you have the end of the garage right there on the street, you are taking the opportunities for retailers and other service and type businesses to have street frontage. That's what they did at Bakery Square. It was the old Nabisco Bakery factory, and it was run down, and there was really a rough area. And they totally revitalized this area, not only retail, hotels, and all. As my work with the economic developments at the county level that you all entrusted me with, is also, we work with all the cities, and Tom Arnold was very interested. So we got a chance to look at that, and I think there's some really good ideas that I'm hoping to see we'll be able to implement here in Morgantown. So I wanted to report on that. So I rode up with one group, and then they dropped me off in Pittsburgh and linked up with Barry Paulet and Frank Janasic for our annual Corps of Engineers review of the locks and lock usage. I am happy to report that even though some of our commercial usage was down slightly, there is a general turnaround. That the Corps of Engineers, now this is just a recommendation, it has to go up the chain yet, but based on our stakeholders meeting they are going to keep the Morgantown lock at level 3, which is one shift a day, 5 days a week. We will be negotiating those days because we know the primary recreational use is in the summer. This is the way we did it in the past, where we could reduce days in the wintertime where there's less usage and increase days in the summertime when there's more usage to weekend and all. So that's all. We're in the middle of that discussion. I've got to praise UMRA for their continued support of this program, and I'm happy to be active member with UMRA and representing this commission. One of the things, the new funding bill is coming up, and one of the things that we're trying to address on a national level is I think it's a Charleroi lock. It needs to be rebuilt. Some of the jumbo barges can't go through that particular lock, which is sort of reduces our commercial, and we talked about that. And I was informed just yesterday that Senator Capito in the new funding bill for the next year has put that in the bill. Okay. So we were concerned about losing funding for that. And I will say that our relationship with the Corps of Engineers has really grown a trusted relationship. And we really working closely together. The civilian director of operations, Richard Lockwood, we got an exceptional relationship with him now. We're working on, and this is UMRA and I representing you all, of trying to get an access to the Hildebrand pool, because there's no current access to the Hildebrand pool for fishermen. You only go through the lock. So if we can get if we can work that out with the Corps of Engineers, we hope to possibly do that within the next year. The Osage Fair was tremendous. I actually had one of the ladies down there got me dancing. I was so.
I missed taping that. I am sorry.
Well, she just came up and started dancing, and you can testify.
Oh, I saw it. I just missed taping it.
Also on Friday, I had a budget conference for West Virginia Association of Counties. We have a number of counties that are, as you all know, suffering financial difficulties, and we are adjusting budgets accordingly. I thought I'd report that to try to help some of these counties that not only hurt from the cut in coal, but also the floods. I was very pleased to represent the commission with the Daughters of American Revolution. They were down here on the courthouse square at 4 o'clock. I found a bell last year, and I put it someplace to make sure I had it, and I couldn't find it that day. I found it again, so I'm going to put it someplace else to have it for next year. But they gave me a large bell, and we rang the 4 o'clock the Constitution in, as it was done some couple hundred years ago. We went to the County Commissioners Association Legislative and Board meeting on Sunday and Monday, and I was very pleased to have Renetta and Colleen with me. I think they received quite an appreciation of the kind of dynamics that's going on and what's going on in other counties. We've adopted a legislative program that will be coming out, and we'll be having regional roundtables. Probably ours will be sometime in latter November or in December about our legislative initiatives. We've got some very positive initiatives. Those will be distributed by email once the drafting is completed. So in future meetings, if you have any input you want to add to, you'll be able to add to that. Renetta, you want to add anything about your, you told me how beneficial you thought it was. I thought it'd be good if you
it was
talked
just
about
a
it.
continuous roundtable. You know, it wasn't like a training that sometimes tends to be dry. It was more just a roundtable, and different counties will talk about different issues. It was very informative.
Very good. She learned a lot.
I did.
Okay. There's been some drainage problems. I want to thank Marvin Murphy publicly. As we know, there's a number of drainage problems around. I was able to get him up here for an hour yesterday and showing some of the road situations, and he said he's going to work with it, but I wanted to specifically thank Marvin Murphy for doing that.
To that, were we able to review DOH and Osage Park?
No.
Okay.
He only had
Limited time.
a limited time, and basically I was only able to get him to Georgetown. But we can put that on the
Please.
list for the next time. Okay, as I mentioned, I was Main Street this morning. One of the main things that's being discussed is the alliance concept, and I know it's the 6 organizations, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Sunnyside, the MAP, Mon County Development Authority, the Chamber, and Main Street, which is interesting enough. I'm on 3 of those boards. The alliance concept is basically not a loss of identity, but an attempt to share resources and share work. For instance, I gave this example today. I wasn't really making the presentation, but the discussion afterwards, there were some questions. If you're working on a retailer and you're trying to get a retailer to come in, you know, because you're working together cooperative, you know what the other resources and what the other units, be it the Chamber or Main Street, are trying to work a particular property. So when you come into the say you come into the Development Authority, you make a call, you come down, you say, I need this, this, and this, but I need this much traffic, I want this much. And she might say, well, I've got this over here and I got this over here, but you know, Travis with Main Street is working on this, and this might be an ideal thing for Main Street. Currently, everyone's sort of in silos, and I talk about this all the time. Everyone's sort of in their particular area, and they don't cross and they don't work together. So the concept, the alliance concept, is the idea that there will be a combining. Now, I've emphasized repeatedly, and it's a design build type system in which we don't really know how it's going to come out the other end. However, I did carry this, and I think I got this from discussions with the commission in the past, that we fund programs. We will not accept another bureaucracy or another organization to fund. The way the consultants are working on it, I think they understand. I spent an hour and a half with them a couple months ago, explaining how this alliance concept would work as a confederation in sharing resources, but to create another entity defeats the purpose. So I hope that position is correct and you all agree with me on that. And I already mentioned the opioid tomorrow. I'll be doing that with Granville. I'm looking forward to that. We've had a busy week and look for a busy October. We got a whole lot of things coming up. And we don't know what, the one thing we got out of the legislative conference is we don't know who's going to come out the other end after the election, who's going to be running the state. We know it's going to be different governor. We know that for a fact. But the County Commissioners Association, being basically a nonpartisan organization, which we are, Jack Woodrum, who's the legislative chair, and I'm sort of the second to him. I'm a Democrat and he's a Republican. So as we said, whoever comes in, we're going to be able to work with because we all work together. And that's fine. The counties are the ones that's going to have to change this state, as I've said repeatedly. They're the ones where the things will get done and we'll move the state forward. Okay, I know that was a long report, but I've done a lot in the last 4 days. I've been all over the place, so I wanted to make sure I brought you up to date. Anything further?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank you.